meeting of the Gunner Independent School District Board of Trustees. Let the record know that it's a quorum of board members present. Absent is Natalie Bernard. Furthermore, let the record show that this meeting has been duly posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll stand. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go into audience participation. We have signed up. Anybody else wish to sign for audience participation? Okay. Mr. Wiley?
Yes, sir.
Come on up.
Hey, I just want to encourage you. Welcome, new superintendent. I think three of y'all, Mr. Myers there, and Dr. Harris, Mr. Johnson, I think y'all hired me in 2017. So it's been a minute, but you got an incredibly difficult job. And no matter what you decide, probably half people are going to be upset, the other half will be singing your praises, and it'll go back and forth. I know firsthand, it's a very, very difficult job. And so on behalf of one of your first times, welcome to the great community of Gunner, Texas. And to the rest of you that the majority of us voted for, best of luck on the 25-26 school year. It would be my hope that our personal grievances stay at home, and when we're in public, we can pull together to make 75058 the best that we can do. I know for a fact your job is not easy, but the pay is great for you. And I say that in jest, but from just one person in this community, an educator and educating the family, we'll be recognizing my son here in a little bit, but at any rate, just thank you for the selfless work you do. We appreciate it, at least the Wiley family appreciates it greatly, and can't wait to support you guys at football and all the other events, band and orchestra and whack play and everything else that my kids participate in. So just from the Wileys to y'all, thank you, and Dr. Enos, welcome to Gunner, Texas.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll go on to the superintendent report.
Well, I'd like to start with student and staff recognitions. Where we should start every meeting, I think, and after all, they're the reason we're here. So with that, Mr. Lawson, Wiley, and Ms. Clutch, you will come up. Both of them.
Do you want pictures?
Yes. So I want to talk about Lawson for a minute. You got to turn around and face everybody here. I want to talk about Lawson for a minute. He was one of 3 of our Gunner Tigers who took at the star last year and scored a perfect score on it. And I'm very proud of him. Perfection's not our goal. Growth is our goal, and it will always be that. But we do want to stop, pause, and celebrate those who do attain something that's very, very hard for anybody to attain. Reading is about 2% of the overall population of the state who can do what Lawson did. So with that, congratulations. Thank you. But wait, there's more. Thank you, Lawson. All right, Mr. Davis, come on up. Maddox Clowers, come on up here. Not to be outdone by Maddox. Maddox is a young 5th grade student who last year on his 4th grade math test got a perfect score on the STAR. Like I said, very hard to attain a perfect score on the STAR test. It's not meant to be able to get that. So it shows a lot of critical thinking skills, and no doubt you're going to be very successful, Maddox. All right, one more time for Maddox and Lawson. Now I'd like to introduce a new award we'll be giving out on a regular basis. Whenever we have members of our incredible staff that go above and beyond. They make a big impact. And that's what we're going to call this award this year. It's a Big Impact Award, and I have two people who equally deserve this award. So at this time, I'm going to ask Stephen, Michael, and Morgan to come on up here. I can't say enough that how incredible our staff is, and they all deserve this, but when you look at all the deserving staff members, two come to the top. And they just rise to the top day in and day out. And that's Stephen and Morgan. What they've done is nothing short of a miracle, getting every single classroom ready for the first day of school, getting every device ready for every student, and doing a rollout, and I've heard zero complaints from anybody. And for something that massive, being the first time we've done it, that's pretty impressive. And so for that, I'm very grateful, and we are very appreciative to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Since we lost some of the crowd.
All good. All good. Monthly financial report.
Yes.
Good evening. So we have the financial report as of July 31st, 2025, the first month of the new fiscal year. We'll start out with the statement position by fund. We'll look at that the fourth column, the ending market value. For the general fund, the Lamar checking, we ended with $1,346,584.64. I don't have my glasses on, so if I miss a number, please tell me. The Lamar checking workers' comp ended with $131,792.43. The Lamar school fund checking account, $61,886.31. And the Lamar general operating investment account, $1,583,237.84. And the Techstar general operating investment account, $877.59, for total investments of the general fund of $3,124,378.81. Next, in the middle, we have the interest and sinking funds made up of our two accounts, one at Lamar and one at Techstar. For our Lamar checking, it ended with a balance of $366,605.97. And the Techstar account, $4,530,729.98, for a combined total for our INS fund of $4,897,335.95. Next, at the bottom, we have our construction funds. We have the 2016 bond at Lamar checking that has a balance of $8,308.85. The 2022 bond at Lamar, $700,669.11. And the Lamar checking 2023 bond with a balance of $8,681,226.25. And then our Techstar for construction funds, we have a balance for the 2016 bond of $19,513.73, and the Techstar 2023 bond, $7,232,176.59, for a total for our construction funds of $16,641,894.53. On the next page is the inventory of investments, which is just the interest-bearing accounts. On that, we have our general fund, our Lamar bond checking, and then the Techstar accounts. Those total investments at the end total down at the bottom, $22,748,431.09. The next we have our property tax collection analysis as of July, so we're still finishing up that property tax collection for the previous year. But in July, for the first month of the fiscal year, for the general fund, we collected $63,772. It's in that third column down at the bottom. And then the debt service fund, $188,386. Next, we have the budget summary ending in July. Total revenues for the month of July, $873,432. And then total expenditures in that third column down at the bottom, total expenditures, $898,838. On the next page is the debt service. Total revenues, $188,386 and 0 expenditures. And then for the food service fund, total revenues, $26,599 and expenditures of $30,873. And that concludes the financials, unless y'all have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to communications. Take it over to Dr. Hess.
So I'll start with the monthly superintendent report. You'll see something like this. I keep this short, but if you have any questions about anything I'm reporting on, feel free to ask questions about it. In front of you, you have a badge that was given to you, so that way you can go and use the benefit that we've been given by the local law enforcement. That's employee discounted rates. We were able to negotiate the law enforcement rate for all of our employees this last few weeks. So feel free to use that. We have a t-shirt in front of you. And that's our district t-shirt, our saying for the month. We're proud of this. Small town, strong bond, big impact. And so we're really proud of the idea that we're going to stay small as far as relationships go, make them meaningful, and have a big impact in the lives of our students. And then the athletic passes are in an envelope with your name on it right in front of you. Make sure that you take those with you and use those throughout the year so we can support our athletes on success. On the updates page, we have a new, at the end of tonight, we'll have a new director of maintenance and operations, Cody McCullough. Cody, if you will stand up. Cody comes to us most recently for UNT. He's been working at UNT for 7 years, and before that he was at Dallas ISD. He's been, his focus has been construction and maintenance simultaneously. He's had to do things like build entire stairwells in these tall buildings because they didn't have a way to get the kids from the top levels down if they needed to. And so his background is extensive, and we're really happy to be bringing him on. And I think you'll be pleased with the productivity that he provides to that department.
Welcome.
And then we have our financial audit happening the next couple of days. Our auditors will be here tomorrow and Wednesday. Just so you're aware, we will be running around here, taking up all of our time. And then our community meeting read, as you saw, is going to be next week with me at the high school cafeteria from 5:30 to 6:30. Encourage anybody that you see around the community to come on out and listen to me talk for just a small few minutes, and then I'm going to open it up to questions and answers. And then also, if people have feedback and they want to give me input, I'll also be taking notes, and it'll be a good chance for our community to express their concerns with me directly in an open, friendly format. And then you'll look at it. What I like to do on these is always give you the month we're currently in and 2 months out, and these are things that will directly impact me being away from the district or travel, or things that you'll definitely want to be at. And so you'll see on here we have board meeting tonight. Community meet and greet events are on here for August. Then skipping to September, we have student staff holiday on the 1st. District safety and security meeting, we have 3 board members who are part of that committee. So if you think it's you, Dave, and Scott, and Shelby, right? And so that is on here for you 3 to attend. It's 5 p.m. on the 3rd. We have our small, mid-sized legislative meeting that I'll be going to in San Saba. That's the 5th to the 7th of September. District Educational Improvement Committee. In this committee, we'll meet every other month roughly, and it's made up of teachers, parents, business members in our community. And what we do is we look at what are the goals of the district, how are we attaining the goals of the district, and then we develop the calendar for the next year or 2 together. Then we'll have our board meeting in September on the 15th at 6 p.m. That'll be at the middle school. We're moving it to a larger venue, so that way we can have more students and more staff member recognitions on a regular basis. And then I will be in Washington, D.C. from the 17th to the 19th for the National Superintendent Certification course that I'm doing there. In October, we have homecoming week, the 13th through the 17th. Don't forget to participate in the homecoming tailgate. That's 6 p.m. at Tiger Stadium on the 15th. And then we have our board meeting for October on the 20th. And finally, wrapping up the month, we have our gift. It says bongo. That should be bingo. Bingo and auction. It's like bingo, but different. It's more fun. So come out and see why it's more fun. And that is all I have. Now we can move on to our enrollment update. If you look, page 41 set. Page 15, you'll see that our elementary enrollment as of last Friday was 487. It's down from what we projected. 281 at the middle school, it's barely down from what we projected, and 389 at the high school, that's almost what we projected. Total enrollment right now is 1157.
What did we budget on?
We budgeted on less than that. We looked at that the other day. I can get you that number.
That's fine. I probably should ask it for, but I figured it was less than the projected. So.
What we can do is go ahead on every one of these reports, put what we can do going forward, because that's a great thing to always look at. We can tell you what number we budgeted for and on what attendance rate, because it's not just the number, it's at what rate.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll tell you that, and that way you can know what we're doing as far as settled up with the state funds.
That's great. Perfect.
And we don't have much of a construction update for this month. We are finishing up the punch list that we have for the elementary school right now. We are waiting on those shade palm trees. When they get here, they'll either be helicoptered in or craned in. Either way, it'll be mid to late September at this point. We're also having some delays with the playground equipment. I found out today, 2 playgrounds, we're getting a lot more equipment out there, and it's all being delayed also. But we will get it. Once we get it, we'll get it put in. Notice that we are under budget on these projects. The 3 projects are coming in about, they said $5.5 million under, but the ISD has purchased things with bond money as well, and Gallagher doesn't have that on the book. So right now, Alice is trying to figure out what we've spent, what they've accounted for, so we can get a real number of what it is we're going to have left over. And those projects, if you'll remember, are possibly admin, just some renovations at the high school that are desperately needed, especially to the restrooms, and then possibly some fleet or transportation.
Excellent.
And then maybe some athletic, we'll talk more about that, but maybe some athletic upgrades to fields.
Okay. Excellent.
All right, our next one is accountability ratings. Heather, come on up. She handed us, I'm not sure if everybody's here, but she came in, she handed us this one right here, and that's probably what we should follow along with. Right.
I think my fingers to
As she's getting situated, I'll start. I want to first say that we should be very proud of our students for taking their time and being so devoted to an exam that does not reflect just how well we're preparing them for life. It projects and shows how well we prepared them for an exam. And for that, they're doing very well. They've improved in every area over 2024 and in most areas over 2023. So the trajectory is very good for our students overall. And the direction we're headed needs to be maintained. We'll shore up some of the holes and some of the gaps that we previously talked about, but we shouldn't be in panic mode right now at all for academics. It's going the right direction. Is it by any means up to the standard of excellence that we all have? Probably not. But we're going to look at those things and we'll adjust small adjustments to make sure we get there.
Okay, so if we take a look at your packet, we're going to take a look at the first page. You guys know it's been a little bit since the state came out with accountability ratings, but last week they released the 2024 and the 2025 ratings. So we're going to take a look at our overall, real quick, if you look at the first slide. The overall rating for, I'm not going to read every one, the overall rating for our district was a B. We scored an 84 overall. And if you look at the next page, we'll flip over to GES with an overall rating this year of an A at 91, which is a great job. Our middle school, same thing, it's overall rating of a C. And we'll move on down to the high school with an overall rating of an A, a 91, which gave us a distinction at the high school level, the top 25% in academic growth in that particular area. So if you flip over to the next page, we're going to kind of do a little bit of a deeper dive. You can look at the next graph and it will show you what our overall ratings were from 2022 to 2025. So the first one is just a graph that kind of shows the how we scored each year. So we are making progress. We're not where we want to be, but we are definitely trying to overcome some of those challenges that occurred between 22 and 23. And we're on the right track, I feel like, as we keep going. So we'll take a little deeper dive into each campus. If you flip the page, we'll take a look at GES, and that'll take you more specifically to not only what the overall rating was this year, but also from 22 to 25, and you can see the increase. We were at 90 in 2022. In 23, we dropped to 82, 68 in 24, and then we were back up to 91 this last spring. So we're definitely making progress there.
I want to add one thing here. We
Yes.
might have some things, even though it's an A-rated campus, that 68 is on there. And that D may require us to submit some things to the state. Should it happen, know that it'll be just some paperwork, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're an A-rated campus. It's all a test. Elementary and middle school is all a test. So if you have a couple of teachers get sick, maybe miss the memo on what teach to teach or what rigor to teach them, it really impacts us, because we're still a small size district.
So one of the things to keep in mind how they get our overall rating, so it comes from the three areas, the areas of student achievement, school progress, and closing the gaps, if you notice on that page. And so you're going to see that for the district and the campuses, and so that's where the score comes from. And so what they do, whichever is stronger between your student achievement and your school progress, so if you look across the board there, they're going to take that. And so the school achievement or school progress, whichever is higher, counts towards 70% of your accountability rating, and the closing the gaps is going to count 30% towards that. Moving on to the middle school, our overall rating in 22 was an 88. In 23 was an 81, 24 was a 79, and 25 was a 75. They have the most difficult of all the campuses up to this point. They had 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, so they test more students than any other campus in our district. And so they just have a little bit more pressure on themselves to look at that. 5th grade is actually, since it is moving to the elementary school, is going to help a lot at the elementary level as well, because it's going to give us an opportunity to have another grade level that's tested on that campus, which will help us with our growth performance down there. If you flip over to the high school, the high school overall rating in 22 is a 90, 23 was an 82, 24 was an 89, and in 2025 was a 91. Academic growth is one of those areas under school progress, if you notice, that we're going to continue to work on in all of the areas. All right, the very last page kind of breaks it down by test and exam. So if you want to take a look at how we performed overall in each of our areas, it's broken down by reading, math, science, and social studies. So for the district, on all of our tests, we had an 83%. At the approaches level, at meets, we had 55% of our students meet that level, and then 19% at our master's level. And then you can see the breakdown of GES, GMS, and GHS. Any questions specifically?
Does it help to track these over, like track a cohort
cohort over time instead of just looking at these as a snapshot?
It does, and that's where the challenging part starts, it's year-over-year growth and not through-year growth. We really want to capture through-year growth, so we're going to be reporting a lot of NWA MAP scores, and you'll see the beginning, middle, and end, and you'll see student growth that way. But yes, we'll track this cohort as it progresses, but keep in mind, as they progress, there's different teachers, different factors, so many variables. But you'll see that a cohort that's low will stay low, and we'll try to grow it, and we'll show you that. Or we'll show you that it's stagnant, we haven't grown, and we got to try to figure out why. That's definitely one thing we look at. Great question.
You definitely want to, the goal is always individual student growth and, the students taking ownership of that and, us helping them learn to set goals for themselves. We want each kid to be able to grow to their ability. So this is an overall rating, but our goal is to dig down and help each kid get to their full potential. On a side note, I know that we talked a while back about the LASSO grant and we didn't get that in the first round, but we actually, at the end of June, were approved. And so that's something that we're working towards this year. So we're going to be focusing specifically on math this year for that. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Principal report?
Let's go ahead and have Eric come on up first.
All right. So I took a page out of Mrs. Quanch's book and have some visuals for you guys to follow along with. Our enrollment as of today is 491. Our attendance for the first 7 days was 97.37. I also noted the Friday attendance of 94.8 there as well. That's something that we'll track throughout the year as we meet as the calendar committee and review 4-day. We knew that was a possible thing that might help our attendance not coming on Fridays. So that's something we'll continue to look at elementary. We opened a brand new campus, as we talked about at the ribbon cutting. It takes a village to raise a child, and it sure takes a village to open a campus. And things are going off without a hitch, really. From the user end of things, the experience that kids got on day one was phenomenal. I thank everyone that had a hand in that, because it really took everybody coordinating. Thank Dr. Enos as well for coming in and helping secure some things, some loose ends that were left, and getting it done to make a quality, safe experience for the first day. Mrs. Hale did a great job talking about accountability ratings, but I definitely wanted to brag on my campus a little bit in this area. So I have maybe a different view than she had for you guys in terms of the history of accountability ratings for GES from when the individual campus letter grades started coming out in 2019. And so that shows you the overall grades. So GES had the highest overall score in the history of the accountability system. So that's a huge celebration. Also, our student growth was student achievement was an A, and our academic growth, which is really me and Suzanne's focus, is growing kids, was the highest that it's ever been, at a 92. So, we firmly believe that if we focus on growing kids, the achievement's going to take care of itself if we do it consistently year in and year out. Also, closing the gaps, that's the federal category, that's the 30%, that was the highest ever in GES history. And that has to do with all of our different demographics, regardless of your circumstance or walk of life that you come from, and make sure that we're growing all of our kids. So that was another celebration. Also, we didn't have any staff turnover except for a new principal from 24 to 25. And we didn't do a lot in terms of mandating curriculum or really even digging into vertical alignment a whole lot. Me and Suzanne's focus this year, so you say, how do you go from a D to an A in 1 year with the same people? I relied heavily on Mrs. Brackeen in terms of putting people in the right spots, 1. 2, really focusing on building a safe, supportive, and collaborative culture. We have tons of veteran teachers. We have great teachers. And so our philosophy is to remove obstacles for them and encourage them to take risks. try different things and communicate as a team and share ideas. And so that's really all we did in year one. We're really excited about the vertical alignment planning that we have, because that's really just going to bolster that all the way pre-K through 5 now. And so that's going to help us raise that relative performance. I feel very strongly about that. And then I also included our spaghetti with a hot dog bun. 3rd grade did that, where they did a book study, and then they got to bring that to life and have the kids come and try something different, kind of outside the norm. And the kids always get a kick out of that one, so I wanted to include that as well. Dr. Enos kind of covered our facilities updates. So we're going to be getting swing sets for each playground, which the kids are very excited about. Climbing structure, another climbing structure for each playground, as well as basketball goals for the big kid playground as well. So that's all I got.
I drove by there. I think you probably need to put in for a new bike ramp pretty soon.
I think so. It's going up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And as hot as it is, it's still up already, so.
Mrs. Drew's going to let me know if we have money for that. But I would love to buy some more of those.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, sure, thanks. Okay, so I wish you guys just a little postcard, just greetings from Mother Middle School. We are off to a strong start. We, like Dr. Eno said, we have 281 kiddos, 80 in 6th grade, 93 in 7th, and 108 in 8th. So that's our highest student population right now in 8th grade. Also want to talk about accountability ratings as it pertains to the middle school. We are also extremely excited about vertical alignment and our staff development days that will be added in with the 4-day week. We have all singletons on our campus, and we also have a large number of coaches. And those PD days are just going to make collaborative planning so much easier for our campus. So I'm thrilled to be incorporating that for next school year. We also started Tiger Time homerooms. So every kiddo is placed in a teacher's classroom for Tiger Time. And we still have grab and go breakfast, so those athletes can still get food during that time. But they're going to be doing prescriptive tutoring, enrichment activities. We'll also be, with those star failures that we did have, we'll be pulling them to do that mandatory tutoring for them, remediation, but or that accelerated instruction. But also just really focusing on our MAP scores and looking at the growth. We had tons of growth last year. So we just need to harness that into that one-day test and figure out why we're kind of missing the mark on that. But we have a plan in place and we're super excited about it. We have staff this year that are incredible. We've had staff that are incredible. We have great teachers. So it's just giving them time to collaborate and prepare for the year. So we're very excited about that. I put some quotes on the back just of kiddos and teachers about what they're excited about for this school year. There's a lot of excitement just having 5th grade no longer on our campus. I miss those teachers and I miss those kids, but it's just kind of a lighter feeling at the middle school if you come by. The lunchroom isn't as crowded and we just have some more space to spread out. We've got to utilize the 5th grade wing and put some STEM classes and some STC class expanded down there. So we've got to do a lot of things with that wing of the school that we're gearing up for and hoping that we can utilize.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Mark.
I don't have a fancy postcard, sorry, I was looking at enrollment, 9th grade, our enrollment was 108, 10th grade is 113, 11th 92, and 12th grade is 77. So our seniors are our lowest class by far, and I think looking down in the younger levels, I doubt we have any under 100 going forward. So it was total was 390. We did lose a couple today, so we're at 388 as of 4 o'clock today, but I don't anticipate, you'll have some come and you'll have some go. So I'm hoping we'll have around that number, 380, 390 all year. So I wanted to highlight our AP Lit and our AP Lang teacher, Miss Coach Carlson. She was a first-year teacher last year, dove in head first in the classroom. She was unbelievable. You'll ask her about coaching or teaching, and she was teacher first, which all of our coaches, I feel that think the same way. But she took that on head first. It's not AP Lit and AP Lang. If it's taught correctly, it's a more difficult subject than your dual credit courses. She took it on head first. She loved it. And so I'm just going to read a little bit about her. The AP Lang scores in 2024. We had 15% of our kids pass in 2024. And I think I should have written it down, but I think we had 30-something that tested that year. This past year, she had 52.8% of her students pass. Her AP Lit in 2024 was 64%, and then this past year was 89%. So she's done an incredible job in those classrooms. She's retained all those juniors that have come back to take that senior level. So we're very blessed to have her in the classroom. I know Ms. Hill touched on this a while ago about the ratings, but I also want to go back and preface in 2022, there was a PINGS coding error. And so if you look at relative performance, you look where we are, probably the score would have probably been somewhere in the low 80s at that point. And so what Dr. Enos has been pushing and what we look at is I want to see the growth from 23 to now and our continued growth. And so that was what was exciting to me as I saw and looked at our reports from 23, 24, 25, is the continuous growth. And that is due, and I know Mr. Davis touched on this as well, is getting the people in the right position. We do have the best teachers, and I think you just got to find what seat they need to be in and let them go. And so I think we've done a good job with that. I think it's going to continue to grow. So we're super excited about that. But I want to shout out to our kids and our teachers as well. So this is a little interesting. I was going to touch on this. Everybody was concerned about the cell phone ban. Our kids obviously knew it before they even got to us. We went over it. It has probably been the best start to a school year that we've had. It's very interesting because typically in a high school cafeteria during lunch, it's pretty quiet because they got their head in their phone, they're doing their thing. This time they can be on it. Come in our cafeteria now, we might have Connect 4 games with the big Uno cards. We had kids making animal balloons. And you don't typically see that during lunch at on a high school campus. They're finding ways to interact with each other, the social aspect of it. I think overall they're just happier kids, to be honest with you. And so that's been an element that's changed. It's been pretty exciting for us to see. So you get a chance, swing by, and we'll take you through there and play some Uno with them. But also that's during lunch. Their time's not there for that. I'm also going to give a shout out to Stephen Michael, Ms. Lorenzini as well. The initiative for one-to-one Chromebooks, that is not a small feat. I've been in 2 or 3 districts that we've done that. It is a beating. They rolled it out so efficiently. Our kids, they were in and out, got them, didn't miss much class time. And so now our kids are being able to utilize the Google Classroom, their dual credit courses. So they did an amazing job. I wouldn't want that job, but they did a tremendous job with it. So once again, I'd like to thank them for that. And then also, Stephen has put brand new computers in all of our CTE labs. He told me today that they can run whatever we're probably going to throw at them. And even in the future, as we grow our CTE program or computer programs, there's some pretty high-tech machines. So we're excited about that. Past week highlights our students and teachers. I preached them the first couple of days, first 3 days. It's not about the curriculum to be in the first 2 or 3 days. You've got a new set of faces coming into your classroom. The main thing that we need to focus on is building a relationship with those kids. And so it was exciting to see all the different daily activities and the icebreakers and stuff that our teachers were doing with our kids to get to know. And so I think that just lays the foundation from the beginning, that the relationship, we care about the kids as a person more than what we're worried about. Obviously, we're worried about the educational end of it, but if they don't trust us and don't believe that what we're doing is in their best interest, then we're not going to get much out of them with that end. So really pushed that the first few days. Football traveled to Bishop Lynch last week for a scrimmage. Each one of our teams competed very well, and so I'm excited for another successful year. I think it's going to be a fun run with a bunch of young kids. Volleyball traveled to Duncanville. They had their first term of the year. They went 4-2, got into the gold bracket, but they're playing 5 and 6A teams as we do. You don't know the spiel. We go compete against the best because it's going to prepare us for the long run. So this week, upcoming events, we have volleyball tomorrow versus Aubrey at home, starting at 5 with our JVs. They're in a volleyball is in the tournament at Farmersville from the 21st through 23rd. The times will be released on that pretty soon. And then we have a football scrimmage this Thursday at Van Alstine, starting at 6 p.m. That's all I've got for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have an updated facility rental and usage handbook on page 17, where it starts. We just need standards, that way people who want to use our facilities know what our expectations are, and that way they know what the fees are right up front, and so it's good that we update handbooks like this, just so that we're good partners with our community, should they want to use our facilities. Now they know what's expected and how much it'll cost them. That's there for you to take with you and read over as you would like. And then we have our attendance procedures manual next. Similar to the facilities, we just need to make sure we have standards. That way everybody knows exactly what time we're doing what is an absence, what's excused, what's unexcused, what does the state allow students to miss school for and not have to dock them the day. And so all that's listed through here, and that is available, I believe it's on our website, am I right? Yeah, it's available to the community on our website. So that starts on page 27 and goes all the way through to the end. Can't read the number because there's something on here covered up here. Okay. So those are the two handbooks I wanted to review tonight. Then we have upcoming meetings and events. September 15th, board meeting, 6 p.m. at the middle school. We have, as I said earlier, homecoming week and the tailgate. And then we have board meeting scheduled for October, November, and December, all at the middle school. October 20th, November 17th, and the 15th of December.
All good. Item 5 is the board member report. And the only thing to really report on is Natalie Bernard has submitted her resignation. Her family have moved down to Austin, so we'll talk about that in executive session. More likely accept the resignation. So as of now, she's submitted her resignation. Item 6 is consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull or discuss those items individually?
Could I do a highlight real quick? There you go, Ben. If you look at C, it's 10,000 donation from McDaniel Heat and Air. I just like to make sure that everybody's aware, who's donating funds to our ISD. They don't do it for the recognition. God knows they do it because they want to help our school district, but I'd like to make sure we shout them out. So real quick, C on here is $10,000 donation from McDaniel Heat and Air, and that was done for that cheerleading room that was put in by Rod over the summer. And so we purchased it and they bought it back from us to donate. And then also Bobby Wilson, as a parent, gave $2,200 to the girls basketball team. Is that right? Yeah, girls basketball team. And I don't know what it specifically was for, but we appreciate that.
Questions, comments? Take a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got a first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Regular business. Item 7A. Consider approval to delegate authority to obligate the school district under TEC Chapter 49 to the superintendent.
So we are considered a property wealthy district in that there are some obligations that we have throughout the year that we need to decide with TEA. Are we going to buy attendance credits? Are we going to settle up and give them money separately than our money that comes in, the ASAHI funds? And so we have to make all those decisions, and they require you to obligate me to do that on your behalf. And so that's what this is. It's just you saying, yes, I can act in the best interest of the ISD alongside Alice to make those decisions. So I ask you to approve it as presented.
Any questions or comments? A motion for item 7A.
So moved.
Second. Got a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 7B, consider approval to add Superintendent Dr. Brandon Enos as a signer to all Lamar National Bank accounts.
I'd ask you to accept that as presented.
Make a motion to accept that.
Got a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 7C, consider approval of House Bill 3 goals board monitoring calendar.
If you look at page 65 of your board book, you'll see that we need to adopt the goals next month, and then after that, there's a continuous monitoring calendar here for you. And every year, we will present a calendar to you, so that way you can see academic growth where it matters most, and that's pre-K through third grade. And so we will be sharing out, I say we, our principals will be sharing out the academic growth of the item that's listed by month. So we don't share the whole thing every month. We take bite-sized pieces and tell you for the whole year, here's what we're going to do, or here's what we did do, and here's the growth we see. And so next month, you'll see a whole bunch of numbers, and I'll explain it to you, that we have the third grade goals, and then we have sub-goals for pre-K, then kinder, and then first and second are grouped together. So you'll see lots of goals next month, but we'll discuss those more then. And then you'll see they go 5 years. So we'll approve the goals for 5 years, and after about 3 years or 4 years, we'll go ahead and not wait till they go out. We'll go ahead and redo the goals so that we can extend them and have continuous improvement. So tonight, I ask that you would approve the monitoring calendar for our school board for House Bill 3 academic growth goals.
Take a motion for item 7C.
I'll make a motion to approve.
You got a second?
Second.
We got a motion and second for item 7C. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 7D, consider approval of an ELL waiver for GISD first grade teacher.
So each of our teachers have to be ELL certified because we have a push-in program, not a pull-out. So we ask that our teachers provide services for our English language learners in classroom. If we don't have that provided, then we have to do a waiver for it. The state allows it for a year. That teacher is currently getting their ELL certification. So for this year, we ask that you approve a waiver so we can submit it to TPA. If you don't have any questions, I'd ask that you approve that as presented.
Have a motion? Second. Have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7E, consider approval to adopt a resolution to establish non-business days for Public Information Act.
We get 10 non-business days for PIAs every year. And if you'll look on page 67 and 68, you'll see the 10 days highlighted that we selected. And we do this so that whenever we're on breaks for things like Thanksgiving or Christmas or spring break, those days don't add up while we're not even seeing the PIA request. Because whether we're here or not, we have to respond in so many days. So that's what this is here for. Any questions, I'd ask that you approve this as presented.
Approve as presented.
Got a motion? Second. Got a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 7F, consider approval of Region 10 contract service selection for 25-26.
If you look at page 69 and 70 of your handout, you'll see that the total amount of contracted services with Region 10 for the school year is $92,811.46. It includes every item here except for the one that's on the second page that says no by it. That was omitted. And we've entered contracts with Region 10 to provide the services that you see listed here for that amount. So I'm asking for you to approve the amount that we'll expend for these services, and then an amount of $92,811.46. Any questions, I'd ask you to approve that as presented.
Questions? Take a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. You got a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 7G, consider approval of the memorandum of understanding with the Juvenile Justice Education Program of Grayson County.
So we don't often send someone to JJAEP. It has to be a very serious offense. However, if we don't go ahead and enter into a memorandum of understanding, then if we have to send somebody, the cost is astronomical. It will quickly exceed the $7,500 this MOU costs us.
For one person.
We would exceed it for one person. This right here is $7,500, but then we pay $120 a day. But it's astronomical if we don't have it. So we enter this agreement. So that way, should we have a student commit one of the most egregious crimes and send them there, that we can quickly get them on the campus and not have a financial obligation to us that That's what it was. So I'd ask that you approve this as presented.
Any questions?
Is it still set up that if we don't use it in year 1, year 2, they waive the fee?
I have no idea. I can look and get back to you. I'll find out.
I believe that's how it's.
I didn't, as I read through it, I did not see that in the MOU, but I can find out for you. It's very likely we won't be using it.
Right. I think in the past, we haven't, and that's come up, it's like, well, we haven't, but, yeah, it's checked. I don't think it changes the fact that we need it. In case we need it, it's there. Hopefully, it's an insurance policy.
We'll reach out and we'll have an answer to you as soon as they let me know.
Thank you.
I move to approve as presented.
Second. We have a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. 7H, consider approval of a non-chapter 21 contract list per policy DCE local.
We removed some of the faculty and staff that were co-op that was on our list because we're not the fiscal agent any longer from this, and then we added the director of maintenance and operation to the list. And that's on page 81. Those are the changes on here. This needs to be approved by the board annually, so I ask that you would approve the list as listed there on page 81.
Slow motion. Got a motion and a second?
Second.
Dr. Harris got a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. 7I, consider approval of the 25-26 compensation package.
Okay. Alice did a great job on this. Thank you very much, Ms. Greer. If you'll look on page 82, that's where it starts. 85, excuse me, is the teacher salary schedule. You'll see there's an extra column in there now for the TRS. That's the teacher retention allotment. It's listed separately on here because it's funded every other year by the legislature. If they change the funding amounts, we want to quickly, as an ISD, be able to change that here in this column, and it's clear to everybody that wasn't something we did. Whether it's increased or decreased, that's something the state does. So that's why it's listed separately. The amounts in here are pretty much the same, except for the step raises were given to 0, 1, and 2 years of experience. We went ahead and gave them the step raises, and so they got something, and then the $4,000 and $8,000 are listed here. You'll turn to the page, the librarian schedule was increased by, was it 1,600? Is that right, Ms. Greer?
So it was not changed, it stayed the district base, but the librarians, they did receive the $1,000.
So,
No change to
no change to
No
that,
change to librarians. Good.
just the way it looks a little bit. And then we have the next 2 pages, you'll see that what we've done here is increased the scale of each of these positions by $1,000 because you voted to give each one of these positions $1,000. And so they're still within the same scale, the same level. So their potential earnings wasn't reduced by giving them the raise that we extended to them. I hope I explained that in a way that makes sense. And so take a minute to look at that, and if there are any questions, go ahead and ask. If not, I'd ask that you approve this as we presented it. I should mention that you'll see this come next year, that we have to, by House Bill 2, reduce your step 0, 1, and 2 teachers if they're not certified already. It means if they're getting an alternate certification or if they're getting an emergency certification by TEA, then we have to reduce their amount. It doesn't say by how much, it just says they have to make less than the teachers who are certified.
Sure.
So we'll have conversations over the next year how we want to do that and what it looks like here at Glen.
Any questions? Yeah, motion.
Move approval of the 25-26 compensation package as presented.
We got a second?
Second.
We got a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. 7J, consider approval to adopt the 25-26 tax rate.
The proposed rate was presented a couple of months ago. Tonight, we get to approve the proposed rate that has already been voted on. The INS rate that will pay our bonded debt is 48 cents. That was calculated with Alice and Region 10. And then our M&O rate of this is the maintenance operations rate, is 0.7072. The total ad valorem tax rate for the 25-26 year would be 1.1872 for $100 valuation. So I ask that you would go ahead and adopt this tax rate for this year.
Any discussion? Questions?
Our debt rate was the 51 cents, right?
50 cents.
50 cents. So it came down 2 cents, right?
Would you like, we can discuss that a little if you're curious why.
No, I know we were talking about it. I'm good with that. I just want to confirm it was less than. No, anything else.
Can I entertain a motion?
Make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 tax rate as presented.
Second. Got a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 7K, consider approval to adopt the resolution regarding Senate Bill 12 and parent rights.
So this last legislative session was all about removing some control from the local school districts. The nicest way to say it. One of those things is to just, this list here, you see 25 items that were in Senate Bill 12. A lot of them make sense, some of them are really difficult for us to get through as a district, but we're going to do our very best. And we're sending home all the communication that is required in this bill and everything. But one thing we have to do before September 1st is to adopt this resolution as an ISD saying that we will do these 25 things. We can read through each of them if you'd like to, or if you've already read them ahead of time, then we can adopt them as presented.
Any questions or comments? Absolutely. Dr. Harris got the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 7K passes. Item 8, at this time, the board will now adjourn into executive session pursuant to the following section of text of the Meeting Act, State Government Code, Section 551.072, discussing land, 551.074, discussing personnel, and 551.076, discussing safety. Time is 6:57. Do you want us to bring it in? It's not in there.
I think we're